All right, so my name is Jennifer Prince. I'm the lead teacher on special assignment here in Arcadia. So my job is this year outside the classroom. I work with teachers from transitional kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, helping them to understand and implement the Common Core. And I also work with parents such as yourselves to help you understand what we're doing in Arcadia to meet the Common Core state standards.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Sandy Birch. I'm the teacher on special assignment right here at Longley Way. Also during the summer, I'm the principal for the Arcadia Ed Foundation, so I've got to give a plug. We just finished the catalog. We're offering some amazing classes this summer. You'll be receiving the catalog probably around March, so please consider signing your children up.
Okay, so what we are going to talk to you about is, this is called close reading. It is a strategy, not a standard. So this is a strategy we would use in the classroom to help your students meet the standard of being able to read closely read complex text at their grade level. So this is something that we're going to do in school. We would not expect you to do this at home. This is for text at your students' instructional level. So we're going to give them complex, difficult text. You heard about complex text in your English shifts. At home, we would ask you, just let them enjoy their reading time. Have something that's not too tough, that's fun for them, and don't torture them with close reading. Let us do that here at school. And we'll do that a couple times a month here in elementary. It'll get more so in middle school and even more in high school. And the reason we do this is what Common Core is asking is they built, what do our kids need to be able to do for college and career? And then they built backwards. So if they need this when they graduate, what do they need to do in 12th grade, 11th, 10th, all the way through kindergarten? And I know you may be looking at me going, my kid is 7. Aren't you getting ahead of yourself? Well, if we wait until high school and we just throw them in, you've missed all these learning opportunities. It's really difficult. My son is a 9th grader, not here in Arcadia, but he is a 9th grader, and in class they're reading of Mice and Men, but at home their teacher handed him Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet and said, read this and in 2 weeks have it read, and I need a written thesis paper on the message Shakespeare was trying to send to the reader.
Yeah, one of our parents at another meeting has a 10th grader, and she said that that happened for her child too. So it's that whole idea of they've got to be able to read something independently, read it closely, analyze it, and not give up.
So if you look at page 6 in your handout, it has kind of a little excerpt of close reading, what it's about. It has some parent tools and strategies. This is also on our Common Core website. So if you go to the AUSD website, over in the left-hand corner, there's a button that says Common Core. All of this is on there, so you can just click on the link as well. So I'll let you read that at home because you don't need me to read that to you. I'm going to ask you, though, now to turn over to page 7. You are going to see a complex text. Don't get scared. We would never consider giving this to your students. No. This was deliberately chosen knowing you are adults and you're good readers. So we want you to feel a little bit of that struggle that your students might feel when they are doing a close reading in their classroom. So we're going to be quiet for a few minutes, and we're going to ask you to read this text and reread it if you have to. Use some of the tools available to you in these handy little baskets like highlighters, pencils, sticky notes, whatever you need, and see if you can figure out the answer to these 3 questions at the bottom. What's the passage about? When did it make sense to you? And what strategies did you use to figure it out? And then we're going to discuss a little bit. So I'll be quiet for a few minutes. Okay, so you may or may not be done, and that's okay. We're going to ask you this time some bravery, some courage, knowing that Sandy and I are teachers of many years, and it took us more than one time to read it and understand it. And if you look, we have lots of notes and highlighters on there trying to figure it out. So thinking about how you try to figure it out, because of course I'm going to ask you for evidence, what did you think it was about? Any ideas? Any guesses?
Getting dressed.
Mm-hmm. Getting dressed. Okay, so what were the clues in there? What words did you find that told you it was getting dressed?
What made it pop? Looking in a mirror.
Okay, and what word told you mirror? Because there's
Retro image, the
reflectoimagegraphum, and I can only say it because I've said it like 45 times already in all of these things. But what told you reflectoimagegraphum was a mirror? How did you know?
it reflects an image.
There you go. So breaking it apart, that's one of the strategies we want our kids to learn, because in a complex text, there are going to be a lot of words that they don't understand. And you can't just give up, and there may not always be somebody there to hand you an answer.
I think that word full length in front of it, that also helped me, because I wasn't sure, and I saw reflect and image, but then full length kind of made it pop too. But how about Mr. Fong? What do you think?
Yeah, some of the other words that sort of led to the same. We thought it was getting ready for an event. The act of purification, showering.
That was the spot for me. That was where it really popped for me, yeah. Well, even for me, when I read it the first time, I wasn't sure. But then with that first paragraph, the word task is written 4 times. So I thought, okay, it's something in anno meridian and post meridian, so they had to show off, you know, and say AM or PM. But I kind of thought, well, okay, it's something that I'm doing in the morning and at night. It's a task, and it says a lot of people, you know, people do it, human beings do it. And then there were those transition words with the second paragraph. So that also helped me, where I saw it was a sequence of events. But then I was like Mr. Fong, where I saw that active purification. I thought, oh, well, that has to be a shower. But we've had a couple of different thoughts about that heat application. Not everyone thinks it's a hair dryer. So does someone think it could be something else?
Did anyone reread it? Right?
That's what I had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, you take notes different ways. You know, sometimes people highlight, but we're teaching our students how to highlight. Oh my gosh, may I share yours too? Okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, just to have, I mean, look at, yeah, it's like, yeah, no one's safe. But even, you know, like, thank you. But even with Post-it notes, you know, any type of strategy, the whole trick is we know that we want to teach kids how to look at instructional text. So they're going to be reading something that they're going to be learning from, and we're going to like encourage them, motivate them. The big thing is don't give up. They have to persevere. And you know, if you don't get it the first time, that's okay. Then just read it a second time, and really read it with that fine eye, where you're looking for those context clues. You're looking for, you know, the Latin and Greek roots. You're just looking for vocabulary that pops out at you. And you know what? They will get it. But again, as Jennifer was saying, we're not doing this every day. We'll just probably be doing this a few times a month in elementary. But Jennifer's middle school, so she'll keeps going.
And what we want you to understand too is this isn't something where, like we did with you guys, where we're going to throw it at you and have you figure it out. With kids, we're going to lead them through. Close reading is a targeted rereading. So we might read it once for the gist of it. With the younger kids, we might even read it out loud. Then we might talk about vocabulary and how to use roots or context clues, like we mentioned with that reflectoimagegraphum, to understand what words are. Then read it again and see if we can figure it out. That's Sandy's timer telling me to be quiet. Then you can tell how well I listen. It's my timer telling me really, really be quiet, but I'm going to keep going anyway. And then maybe sometimes when you're in a different class, because this could be used for all, just not English too. Maybe in science you talk about a certain scientist's point of view, or who's paying for a scientific study, and maybe you look for biases in there. In history, maybe you're looking at an article or a piece of literature and you talk about the historical period, like if it was written during World War II. Maybe it means something different, and you can peel those layers away the more you know. So really, close reading's targeted rereading.
Yeah, and even looking at those multiple perspectives. So, you know, maybe there's one perspective that you're reading, but yet someone else will have another. And I know for me, even that whole thing with the hair dryer and, you know, iron. So we allow it, it's okay.
Yeah, there's lots of different takes, and we're getting the same conclusion regardless of how we got there. There's a lot of ways to get to the same place.